You are already being measured, even now, even while you think nothing is happening. The room decided something about you before you spoke, before you moved, before you even understood the rules. Predators don't wait for permission. They scan for weakness, for noise, for unnecessary motion, and the first thing they notice is who reacts too fast. Silence is not neutral here. Silence is a signal. The moment you stop reaching for approval, the moment your face doesn't flinch, the moment your eyes don't explain themselves, something shifts in the room. The ones who live by instinct begin to feel watched. Not by you, but by the possibility that you see more than you say. They circle certainty, not chaos, and your calm is neither. It is unreadable. They thrive on patterns, on predictable fear, on resistance they can push against. What they cannot tolerate is absence. No tells, no emotional leakage, no confirmation that their presence matters. This is why they test first. A remark meant to provoke, a stare meant to dominate, a pressure point disguised as humor. And when nothing comes back, when your posture stays neutral and your timing stays slow, the balance fractures. Because predators do not fear strength, they fear miscalculation. They fear choosing the wrong target. They fear the man who does not reveal where the line is. You don't look dangerous. You look irrelevant. And that is worse. Machiavelli once let a thought slip through history like a blade wrapped in velvet. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. They believe what they see, and what they see in you is emptiness where reaction should be. This unsettles them. They rely on emotional echoes to map control. Your silence deletes the map. Now every move they make risks exposure. Every push risks missing. They begin to hesitate, not because you attacked, but because you didn't. The most dangerous shift is not when you fight back. It's when you stop confirming the game exists. At that point, the room is no longer hunting you. It is watching itself, wondering who just became the variable no one accounted for. Once hesitation appears, the hierarchy starts leaking. Predators survive on momentum, not certainty. They move fast because speed hides ignorance. When you slow the room down, when your responses arrive late or not at all, you force them to feel the weight of their own decisions. This is where their aggression turns inward. They begin replaying moments, reinterpreting your stillness, wondering what they missed. Calm is not passive. Calm is compression. It squeezes meaning out of every second they waste trying to read you. You are no longer an opponent. You are an unresolved problem, and unresolved problems drain energy. Notice how the loudest ones grow sharper, how they overperform dominance, how they seek allies with glances and smirks. That is not confidence, it is triangulation. They are checking whether the group still agrees on who holds power. Your lack of reaction has destabilized consensus. Power only works when everyone believes in the same story, and your presence introduces doubt without explanation. You don't challenge them directly, because direct challenges give relief. Conflict clarifies roles. Silence blurs them. The mind that does not react forces others to project, and projection is where mistakes are born. They start attributing intent to you that you never expressed. Strategy where there was none. Threat where there was patience. This is when distance forms. They stop engaging you casually. Conversations shift when you enter, not because you are feared openly, but because you are now expensive to misjudge. Every interaction carries cost. The system prefers predictable players, and you have removed yourself from that category. This is the moment you become invisible in plain sight, not ignored, but unclassifiable. You are no longer pushed, you are monitored, and monitoring is slower than attacking. Slowness is your leverage. While they burn energy testing shadows, you conserve. While they speak to reassert presence, you observe structure. Calm turns time into an ally, and predators cannot afford patience. They need outcomes. They need reactions. Deprive them long enough, and their own nature begins to betray them. The danger is not that they will strike you. It is that they will strike wrong. And when that happens, the room will remember who stayed still while everything else collapsed. At some point, they realize they cannot read you. And this is where irritation mutates into something quieter and far more dangerous. Predators rely on pattern recognition. They win by predicting behavior, not by strength. When your responses refuse to form a pattern, when your face offers no confirmation, their internal models begin to fail. They replay your silence like a glitch. They scan for tells that never arrive. The absence of reaction forces them to invent one. This is not curiosity. This is loss of control. The mind hates empty space, and you have become empty space that watches back. Every move you don't make becomes louder than their actions. They begin to suspect that you see angles they don't, that you're counting something, that you're waiting. The irony is that you don't need a plan yet. Their imagination is doing the work for you. Fear grows faster when it has no shape. This is why restraint feels threatening. It suggests depth without revealing limits. Somewhere in their thinking, an old truth surfaces, one they don't like admitting, that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. And you have removed yourself from sight without leaving the room. You are present, but unreadable, close, but unreachable. This forces them into premature moves. They test boundaries that were never set. They escalate tension to provoke a response, and each failed attempt tightens the coil inside them. You are no longer reacting to pressure. You are creating it by withholding meaning. Others in the room feel it too. They sense the shift before they understand it. Attention drifts toward you without invitation. Not admiration, not allegiance, but recalibration. The hierarchy pauses to reassess its assumptions, and reassessment is lethal to dominance because dominance depends on speed and certainty. You've introduced delay. Delay exposes weakness. The predator begins to overthink. Overthinking fractures instinct. Instinct is their weapon, and you have dulled it without touching it. This is the moment they start making errors they cannot explain later, small misalignments, words chosen poorly, alliances formed too early. They are trying to anchor reality again, and you have removed the anchor point. When they finally act, it won't be because you forced them. It will be because they couldn't tolerate the silence any longer. And whatever they do next will tell you exactly how vulnerable they've become. By now, the room has adjusted around you without asking permission. Conversations angle differently. People lower their voices when you're near, not out of respect, but out of uncertainty. You have become a variable they can't isolate. Predators don't fear strength here, they fear distortion, the way a calm presence warps incentives. They begin to protect themselves from you without knowing what they're protecting against. This is where the invisible gain leverage. You are no longer part of the immediate exchange of power. You are part of its background conditions. Every decision now has to account for you, and accounting slows everything down. Slowness creates friction. Friction creates mistakes. The more composed you remain, the more others start revealing their urgency. You notice it in rushed agreements, in forced laughter, in alliances that feel performative rather than strategic. They are trying to stabilize a system that has already shifted. You don't need to expose them. Time does it for you. What they don't understand is that your restraint has already placed you above the cycle of reaction. You are not competing. You are observing the competitors exhaust themselves. This is why underestimation becomes your shield. They assume passivity where there is calculation. They mistake patience for indecision. And because they believe you are behind, they stop guarding their flanks. Information leaks when people feel safe. Ambition shows its teeth when it thinks it's unopposed. You collect none of this actively. You simply remain still long enough for patterns to surface. This is the quiet advantage Machiavelli understood without ever having to announce it. That power consolidates not through display, but through positioning. You are positioned now, not at the center, but just outside it, where influence is harder to trace. From here, you see who needs validation, who fears exclusion, who cannot tolerate uncertainty. These are the real weaknesses. Muscles don't betray anyone. Nervous systems do. And every time you choose not to react, someone else reacts for you. They speak too much. They commit too early. They reveal priorities they thought were hidden. The room becomes louder while you remain unchanged. This contrast sharpens. People begin attributing intention to your silence. They assign depth where none is shown, and this projection works in your favor because it forces them to negotiate with a version of you that exists only in their heads. You have become multiple things at once without declaring any of them. This multiplicity unsettles predators because they require a single target. Without one, they hesitate. And hesitation is the only opening you ever need, because once they hesitate, they are already behind, even if they don't realize it yet. At this stage, the danger is no longer external, it is structural. The environment itself starts bending around the absence of your reaction. Predators rely on rhythm, on predictable sequences of stimulus and response. When that rhythm breaks, they lose calibration. They start mistaking noise for signal. You see it when they test boundaries unnecessarily, when they provoke reactions that never come back to them. Silence becomes a mirror they don't know how to look into. The more they push, the more exposed they become. Because every push is a confession of impatience. You are no longer hiding. You are simply refusing to participate in their tempo. This creates a psychological vacuum, and vacuums force movement. Someone always fills the space. It's never you, it's them. They talk themselves into positions they didn't intend to take. They escalate conflicts that didn't need escalation. They manufacture urgency because calm makes them uncomfortable. What terrifies predators is not opposition, it's irrelevance. And your composure threatens to make their aggression unnecessary. That's when hostility sharpens, not openly, but subtly. Small exclusions, delayed responses, passive attempts at dominance. These are not attacks. They are probes. They are checking if you feel it, if you flinch, if you adjust. You don't. And that refusal to recalibrate tells them something without words, that their influence stops at your perimeter. Machiavelli hinted at this when he observed that men rarely notice what is stable until it resists them. Stability reads as weakness only to those who need chaos to function. You begin noticing that predators now operate around you, not through you. Plans are made without your input, then quietly revised when outcomes don't align. You are consulted indirectly, through others, through reactions, through second-hand signals. This is power migrating without ceremony. No declaration, no confrontation. Just a gradual repositioning where your absence from drama increases your presence in consequence. You don't move closer to the center moves closer to you. This is the point where danger peaks because predators sense loss before they understand it. They may attempt a decisive act, a forced narrative, a sudden confrontation meant to collapse ambiguity. This is the test, not of courage, but of discipline. You let the moment pass untouched. You don't clarify, you don't defend, you don't counter. And when nothing happens, when the expected explosion fails to arrive, something in them fractures quietly. They realize they cannot force you into a role. And without roles, their script collapses. From here on, every move they make carries risk because they are acting against an opponent who isn't playing, isn't visible, and isn't reacting. And that realization lingers longer than any threat ever could. By now, the predators have adjusted their distance. Not out of respect, not out of fear in the childish sense, but because something about you no longer fits their internal map. You exist outside their predictive range. They can't simulate you. And anything that can't be simulated becomes expensive to attack. This is the quiet advantage of the thinking man. You are not faster, louder, or stronger. You are simply unreadable. The moment they realize this, their attention fractures. They begin over-investing in control elsewhere, compensating for the one variable they can't dominate. That's when you notice the shift. You are no longer pressured to prove value. You are watched, carefully, from a distance. They wait for confirmation that you are still human in the way they understand humans, emotional, reactive, needy. You give them nothing. What they miss is that your restraint is not defensive. It's deliberate. Every calm response is a calculation. Every silence is a decision. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology named it, when he wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. What they see is stillness. What they don't see is the hand already closing around the outcome. This is where the real danger forms, not for you, but for them. Because once predators sense that force no longer works, they start turning on each other. Hierarchies destabilize, loyalty thins. The same instincts that once unified them now expose fractures. You don't benefit directly from this chaos. You don't need to. You benefit from the clarity it creates. You see who moves from fear, who moves from thought, and who moves only when pushed. The moment you recognize this, you understand something irreversible. Power was never about domination. It was about positioning, about being the one variable no one accounted for. This is why predators fear the one who thinks, not because he attacks, but because he survives their attacks without acknowledging them. He remains intact while their energy depletes. He walks through rooms without absorbing the tension meant to shape him. And eventually, without announcement, without triumph, without noise, he becomes the reference point they orient around, even as they deny it. If you're still listening, it's not because you're curious. It's because you recognize the terrain. And if you choose to stay aware, to observe rather than react, to think rather than perform, you'll notice something unsettling in the days ahead. The world doesn't become safer, it becomes clearer. And once you see who is driven by instinct and who is driven by intention, you can't unsee it.